Todos nos hemos preguntado qué podemos hacer para mejorar la condición de nuestro mundo. Aquí le presento un extraordinario ejemplo. Un joven que desde los 7 años de edad ha construido pozos para la gente de África. Hreljac, del Canadá, nos presenta su ejemplo que usted fácilmente podría seguir. Todos podemos si queremos. Le presento la entrevista con Sebastian Amigo.
Hreljac nació en Ontario, Canadá, el 31 de mayo de 1991. Un niño que a los 6 años de edad tuvo una visión. Quería ayudar a las personas que sufrían por la falta de agua potable en África. Hoy ya es un joven de 21 años de edad que ha logrado perforar más de 720 pozos en 16 países, ayudando alrededor de 760,000 personas en todo el mundo. El día de hoy nos acompaña en el estudio de Tercer Milenio para contarnos cómo fue que logró estas grandes hazañas.
So tell me, Ryan, what was the thing that motivated you when you were a 6-year-old kid to give water to people in Africa?
Well, I remember we were doing our annual school charity project. We would do fundraisers for canned food drives for people in our community, and we would do all these different things for cancer. And that year, we were raising money for developing countries. And I remember my teacher brought in this list of things we could get, like $2 would buy a blanket, $5 would buy 5 hot lunches. And when she got to a point, she said $70 would buy a well. And she explained to us that people were dying because they didn't have clean water. And we were 6 years old. We didn't understand. We were like, why don't you just walk to the water fountain and get your water and not die? My teacher had to explain to us that the world is very different. There are places where they don't have clean water, where they have to walk 5,000 steps to go get it. So I remember I counted the steps it took me to get from my classroom to the water fountain, and I counted 10. In my family, and I had 2 brothers at the time, and I just came out of kindergarten, so preschool, and one thing that was stressed upon us, that was forced upon us, was sharing. Share, share, share. You share what you don't have with others. And it really pissed a lot of us off that the world wasn't sharing. So I took it upon myself to do chores around my house for 4 months to raise the $70, only to figure out it would actually cost $2,000. So a lot of money, 20,000 pesos. Yeah. So it was a big road bump because I was still 6 years old, but I went back to my classroom and did a fundraiser in my class, and I started speaking to my neighbors about it and started to do little fundraisers around my neighborhood. And then it slowly grew and grew and grew to the point where we were able to build that well. And then when I was 11, established the Ryan's Well Foundation and do 700 water and sanitation projects since then in 16 countries around the world. So it's grown a lot.
So tell me, what is the mission of your foundation?
The mission is to bring clean water to as many people as we can in sanitation, because there's a huge problem in this world. There's still almost 1 billion people in this world that don't have access to clean water, and there's even more that don't have access to proper sanitation. And there are things that are so basic that can empower a community to grow and to become economically dependent upon itself, and to improve maternal health and to improve education, and so many different things that water can lead to. And it's such an important resource. And yes, it's a complicated problem, but on the same scale, it's a very simple solution.
How did you feel the first time you built your first well?
It was crazy. I finally raised enough money. It took a whole year, and I was fortunate enough my neighbors gave air mile points, so I was able to go to the well. It was built at Angola Primary School in northern Uganda, and I remember when I got there, there was this huge celebration there. There were 5,000 people, there was a feast, there was dancing, and everyone was just so excited because they had clean water. And I don't have a smile that lights up on my face because I can have a shower in the morning or anything like that. So to see that something that, which I used to consider so small, having that much of an impact on someone's life, just blew my mind.
Wow. So tell me, Ryan, what would you say to the people in Mexico and around the world that are thinking of doing a social project for helping others, but they don't do it because they think they're not capable of doing it?
Well, I remember when I first started, I was doing fundraisers in my classroom and around my community and different schools, and I was doing those things, but I was still a 6, 7-year-old kid. I played video games, I loved to play basketball, I loved to pick my nose. I was a kid, but people were throwing the word activist at me, like, good job being an activist, you're taking the initiative, good job. And I didn't really feel like that because I slept in on the weekends and didn't do my homework sometimes. So I didn't think the two could coexist, that you could become a mediocre, average person and be an activist. But as I grew up, I realized that there was something called moderation, and it's not easy, but it's possible to give back and care about something and still be a regular person. And I don't think anyone stressed that upon me enough, that it's okay to be selfish, to care about your own life, but at the same time to give back what you don't need to your community and to the world is very important.
What motivates you every time that you wake up in the morning to keep on doing your projects and accomplishing them?
But I think it was a trigger, like an event. Whenever I went to the water fountain at my school after that, it reminded me. And I guess having that reminder helped me stay motivated. And the other thing that helped me stay motivated was that when I came back to my friends and my family and my community and wanted to do fundraising, people pitched in little by little, and people in other schools, people in other communities, grown people, kids. And the message was pretty universal. And the fact that other people, it slowly became less and less of my project and more of everyone's project, with everyone pitching in. And that's what it's become today, which is great, and that's what motivates me.
Well, tell me, Ryan, what is the next project for your foundation?
Well, right now we're doing specific work in Uganda, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Haiti. We're trying to drill as much wells as we can and make sure that they're as sustainable as possible, that we empower local communities to take ownership of it, and so it really contributes to long-term sustainable development. And at the same time, we're working on empowerment too, advocacy, I stutter sometimes, sorry, advocacy, and getting the word out of water awareness, and that it's a very important issue, and we need to start taking it seriously in all of our communities, whether in Mexico or Canada or anywhere else in the world. So it's one of those things that we're going to have to start paying a lot of attention to. I
want to thank you very much for having this interview with us today. We hope you the best to you and to your foundation, and we also hope you enjoy your stay in Mexico.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Ryan Hreljac es un ejemplo a seguir. No olvidemos que cuando tenía tan solo 6 años de edad, tomó la iniciativa de promover la creación de un pozo para dar agua a la gente de Uganda. Gracias al apoyo de su familia, sus amigos y su comunidad, logró crear su propia fundación, Ryan's Well. Actualmente tiene más de 700 proyectos de su propia iniciativa para ayudar a la gente de todo el mundo. Liberemos el Ryan Hreljac que todos llevamos dentro. Soy Sebastian, amigo, y esto, Tercer Milenio.